Hi, today I want to talk a little about stress, the effect of stress, de-stress, eustress, and basically why we get stressed and how we can deal with stress more effectively. So, I think we all know the signs of stress. The signs of stress are usually things like anxiety, lack of appetite, lack of sleep, lack of peace of mind. And the problem that we can have with stress is over time, that stress will actually lead to distress. And distress is whereby we feel that we're out of our mind, we're out of our wits, we can't get any rest, we're never at ease, our mind is always plagued and like with broken thoughts and repetitive ideas and hurt feelings, and we feel continually strained and continually stressed. We also have, well, apart from this type of stress, of being stressed out, we also have the opposite. If we take, for example, somebody who's unemployed, or what happens to a lot of people like who are maybe like homemakers or retired people, often they also have stress, but their stress is a little bit different. With their stress, it's not that they're overworked or that they're worrying about money. Their stress is that they've nothing to do. They've literally nothing at all to do. So they're also stressed, and this over time can become a kind of distress. Whereas the former is a bit more like, if you imagine a tire that's overpressurized and eventually the tire will burst, in the case of the person who's nothing to do, is they're so unstressed or understressed, it's like the tire runs out of air and it becomes like a flat tire. And we become kind of flat. We become like a more flat version of ourselves. Now, there's another concept called eustress. And in eustress, it's like we have a healthy level of stress. And the way I would like to describe it is as a spring. If I take a spring and I put a lot of pressure on that spring, it's going to be very taut and it's going to be completely, crushed. Or if I pull it the other way, I pull it out, it's going to be completely stretched. Either way, it's not good. But if I take that spring and I just let it bounce around the place, it kind of flops all over the place, and that's also not good. So eustress is sort of whereby you have a spring, but it's not understressed and it's not overstressed. Rather, it's a healthy level of stress. That's eustress. So eustress gives us a sense of meaning. It gives us a sense of fulfillment, of we have tasks to do, but not too many tasks to do. Okay. There was a psychological report that came out not too long ago where they discovered that people who have psychologically challenging lives, but not traumatically challenging lives, but they simply have a certain amount of challenge to deal with, that those people are actually more fulfilled than people who have no challenge at all, or that people who would apparently have, say, hedonistic life with lots of fun. So human beings actually thrive. Human beings actually thrive on eustress, on a certain amount of stress, a certain amount of difficulty, having to overcome some obstacles, but not too much. So if you take the person who's unemployed, for example, or a homemaker, or someone stuck at home all the time, if they take up some hobbies or interests or activities that give them something to do and something to aim for and something to work on, it will increase their level of stress sufficiently to make them feel in the zone of eustress. In the case of somebody who is stressed out, they basically have to go in a different direction. They have to de-stress. They have to relax and de-stress themselves. So you've got the overstressed, the understressed, and in the middle, you've got the eustress. So what we have to do is try, where possible, to get into that middle range, which is eustress. So how can we do that? Okay, for example, the person who's overstressed, they need to de-stress, not distress, but de-stress. And that's obviously, I think, things which are very useful is finding some time, personal time, some meditation perhaps, going for a walk, things like if you're working, finding time to have breaks, like if you're studying, taking breaks. If you're working, maybe say, that's it, I now have family time, I eat my dinner with my family, or I close my laptop at 7 o'clock in the evening, or whatever. But we have to find some way of reducing the stress, because in today's society, there's an endless amount of activities you can be doing, there's an endless amount of productivity you can do. And if you're stressed out, you really need to de-stress, you need to loosen the stress. And if you're in a job or a business, these days you can just do an infinite amount of work, and it's just there's more and more. It's not like when I was young, You could just clock out, there's nothing else to do. Nowadays, there's always something else to do, and technology in many ways seems to rob us of time, because we seem to have, there's more resources we can have, there's more data we need to learn, and so on. So if you're stressed out, I would say you need to find some me time. You need to find some time to just relax and take a chill pill. Now, if you're completely de-stressed to the degree that you're in distress from your de-stress, find something useful to do. Take up a new course. Take up a side hustle. Do some service to humanity. Try and find some project or something that you'll have an interest in and that you can work towards getting better at. Try and give yourself some kind of challenge to work towards, because this, again, creates eustress. And this is also quite useful for the person who is feeling stressed out, because a lot of people are stressed, but they're not stressed doing things they like. They're stressed doing things they don't like. They're stressed because they're at work. They're stressed to make money. They're stressed because of all the challenges of home life, and they're not getting anything that they like doing. So it's good to take a challenge where you work on something. So, for example, I have this YouTube channel, and for me, believe it or not, this YouTube channel is actually a challenge, because I'm always trying to figure out how to do it, but I like it. It's an interesting challenge. I'm learning, and I'm not saying I'm very good at it, but I'm learning, and it's like a hobby. It's like something I find good. So whatever it is, learning how to play guitar, singing in the choir, taking the dog for a walk, whatever it is, try and find activities, if you're a stressed out person, that you're still doing something, but you're doing something that is actually rewarding to you, which could be like going to the gym or learning a language or taking a class. I feel a lot of people are very stressed because they feel all their time is spent doing stuff that just pays the bills and like they're treading water. So try and find something that's interesting. I think that's a common factor of both, because if you're stressed, you need to de-stress. If you're de-stressed, you need to get some stress to get eustress. But both cases, finding things which mean something to you really, really help. And search for meaning is very important in life. We should be doing things which add meaning to our life. And also, another thing we can do is look at the sort of things you're interested in, the movies you like watching, TV shows you like watching, the hobbies you have, the interests you have. Does your life have these things? If you have a bunch of interests but you never do those interests, well, you're like living a life that's not in alignment with the sort of person you are. So it's very important to look at things you're interested in and make sure you have time. And a lot of people fall into the trap of family commitments, job commitments, and you just end up doing a bunch of stuff you don't like doing. And life is really too short for that. So try and find out what you really like doing, and at least spend some time doing things which you like, because then you're in a state of congruence between the inner you and the outer you, between the you that's experienced in life and the you that's actually active as an agent of change in the world around you. So the key thing to take away here is that maybe you need to increase your stress in a healthy way. Maybe you need to de-stress. Either way, meaning is important, and aligning the outer and inner activities will also help you a great deal. And the very important thing when you're stressed or de-stressed and you're in a state of distress is to get back into that medium range, which is in the area of eustress, which is mean you got a healthy, psychologically rewarding level of stress that makes you feel like your life is exciting and interesting and it's going forward in a better way. Just some thoughts I thought I'd help or share with you, because stress and de-stress and distress is a big issue, and getting back to eustress is really, really helpful for all of us. Hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe if you do, and I'll talk to you next time.